bill to pass Parliament by Friday, when the restriction could be lifted if government lawyers lose an appeal. A judge ordered the curfew to be lifted on Tuesday, ruling emergency powers had been wrongly used to enforce it. Some of the country's worst riots in decades were seen after the 9 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. restriction was brought in last month. Step Varsen has more from Amsterdam on how this has become a damaging political issue.
Well, many expect that here to happen, but lawmakers have some very strong words about the government's big mistake, as they call it. They also call it a big mess, where the country is landed in because the government has used this wrong legal basis for this curfew. And as we know, the curfew from the very start has been leading to political, legal and also security dramas here in the Netherlands. It has led to the largest riots in 40 years when the curfew was actually imposed. It's the first curfew since the Second World War, so there was a lot of resentment already. So many took to the streets in the first few nights. There was looting, there was a lot of destruction, fighting with the police. And then this week the government got a real big blow because the court in The Hague decided that the curfew wasn't legal at all. So now they very quickly came up with this emergency law. At the moment, this is very quickly now being discussed in Parliament. There's a lot of criticism from lawmakers, of course, especially the far right is really profiting from this mistake. But at the end, many here expect at the end of the day, also tomorrow when the first chamber, the Senate, will look at it, that it will be approved. But there's still also an appeal hearing on Friday about this curfew law. So at the end, maybe we still have a curfew, but you can imagine this has led to a lot of confusion here in the Netherlands. Do we have a curfew or don't we have a curfew? And also it's seen as an example of the very inconsistent policy the government has had since the beginning of the pandemic.